Music. What do you think? A little bit.
That's what I do.
All right, I'm gonna put a little background music. We're live already. What's going on, everybody? Thank you
Nothing
all for
new.
being here with us. As you can see, I got my homegirl in the building. You know what I'm saying?
What
Suni,
up?
not Suni. Blanks.
Just Sunni.
Which music? There we go. All right. Is that too loud?
Turn it
Let's
down
change the
just a
volume.
little bit.
How's that?
Keep going.
How's
That's good
that?
right there.
All right. Yo, everybody, check it out. We got some stuff to talk about. So me and Suni was just live on her TikTok, which she's doing phenomenal over there. Congrats to you, Suni. You got an
Thank
amazing
you.
thing going. You blown up over there. That's good, as you should. But we got off topic and we were talking about, what happened with Candace Owens and the letter that came out from Dennis Prager. What's going
Yeah.
on, Dawn? What's going on, Rose? So yeah, we were getting into this, and obviously listen, we're gonna be as PG as we could because we're on YouTube and Facebook, and I don't want to get my accounts taken down for talking about a specific group of people who we shall not name by name. So I will be referring to the people that I'm talking about, because when I talk about this issue, I'm not talking about all of them people that are a part of the demographic that we're going to be talking about, okay? I am not talking about the word that starts with a J and ends with a ooze, okay? I'm not talking about people as a whole. I'm talking about a specific people, Talmudist. I created that word, by the way. You're more than welcome to use
He
that when
really
you're
did.
referring. Yeah, when you're referring to these types of people, we're talking about Talmudist, not people that practice Judaism. We're talking about Talmudist. There's a big difference. You have to do the research behind that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it gets pretty disgusting. I digress. So Suni,
Yes.
what the hell is going on with this letter from Dennis Prager to Candace Owens?
So, Candace has been pretty vocal about, the country that is in the active conflict right now with Iran, however you pronounce it. She's just been very vocal. She's been vocal about the Talmudist. I have never gone as deep as she's gone, but I've enjoyed watching her question a lot, because these are things that I started to question very early on. So it warmed my heart to see it, just to give some backstory and context, right?
Yeah.
And one by one, she's had Talmudists come out and offer a level of reproach. And I thought that this was the most severe, because everybody on the right, they're like real vanilla. They don't get too out of character and gutter. They're just going to write you a scathing review.
I get, when I talk about this topic, and see, this is why I don't normally do it on these platforms, because
Yeah.
I get deep, I get gritty, and I say things that will probably get me labeled as a, person that I'm not. I'm not that
Yes.
person that they would label me as. I love everybody.
But see, I don't think Candace is like, F it. I left Daily Wire. This is my YouTube. I'm going to talk about what I want.
Not no
And
more.
I
They
d-
took her YouTube down. Her YouTube is gone.
That's crazy.
They deplatformed her. Yeah.
I'm not even going to say what I think about that. But I hope she's doing okay, because she had a big, massive YouTube channel that was doing great. She was pushing numbers. So
Yeah.
Dennis Prager is one of the last titans on the right to come out and speak on her and her rhetoric centered around the Talmudists in Israel. And he did it in a 15-page letter. And I read up to number 6. And after that, I just had to stop reading. I couldn't read it anymore because I found myself I was becoming infuriated, because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at what other people are talking about. And I'm looking at every other content creator, and I'm like, nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything. We're just going to sit here and pretend like they're not trying to make this girl seem like she's bad shit crazy.
Yeah.
Questioning her sanity
Yeah.
on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's typically what happens when you challenge the narrative, when you talk about the people that own and run every facet of your life, from social media to banks to politics to news to books, like everything. The history that we all believe comes by way of these people. Like, I don't even know what's real anymore. You know, I don't even know what's real anymore. When you go back and you look at when they talk about revisionist history, okay, history's been revised by these people. Now, it gets really, really deep, because most people, you know, when you think about, we'll use Israel, right? When you think about Israel, people think about 1948. That's when Israel became a nation.
Balfour Act. Yeah.
And they only think about that. They don't go back further than that. They don't go back to who was responsible for a large majority of funding for the slave trade. They don't go back to what they were doing in other countries where they lived. And again, when I say they, I'm not talking about regular people. I'm talking about elitists that run shit. Okay? Not talking about regular people. If you're an Israeli and you are a regular person like me, I love you. I have no quarrel with you. If you are a person that goes to synagogue on whatever on the Sabbath day, love you. My gripe is not with you. All right, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who say that they are you, kind of like the people that say that they are us, that they are reflections of the black community, but are not. Amazing analogy. Shout out to you. Exactly. Kind of like how, you know, white people, you have like the Triple K movement, but you don't identify with them. They don't represent you, but yet they call themselves Christian. They call themselves white. Completely separate ideology with an agenda that you would not be okay with, right? That's what the equivalent of what I'm talking about when I talk about Talmudist compared to people who practice Judaism. Two different people, okay? When you challenge these people, or you go back in history and look at what they've done in every instance, even when you read your own Bible, you just go into your own Bible and you read and you're like, whoa, these people are messed up. I mean, we all believe that Jesus is the Son of God, right? We all can agree to that. Yeah. Okay. So if we all believe that, then why not believe Jesus' words when he told them, Abraham would have been glad to see me. He would have been glad to see my day. Moses would have been glad to see my day. He said, how you going to talk about Abraham? You ain't even old enough to be. Well, yeah, you wasn't even around it. He said, before Abraham was, I am. You know what I'm saying? And then they got all upset, and they said, what are you talking about? We are all of one father. We all got the same God. He said, no. If we were the same father, you love me. But you're not. You're of your father, the devil. He said that. Now, was he talking to, because Jesus was, you know, technically the word that we're not going to use. Technically, he's that. So why would he be telling these brothers of his that are of the same faith, right? Why would he be telling them, no, we're not the same. You're not like me. You're of your father, the devil. Your father, Satan, yeah. Okay. So if it's okay for Jesus to say this, how come everybody else can't grasp what we're talking about here? Can't grasp what Candace is talking about? Candace is not talking about, and this is where she messes up at. Candace is not talking about all of these people. She just doesn't have the right terminology. Candace, if you ever see this video, I'm gonna give you the terminology. Talmudist. When you talk about these people, say Talmudist. I should copyright this. Talmudist. Okay? You're talking about Talmudists. You're not talking about people that practice the Jewish faith. You're talking about Talmudists. It's a difference. So, she's in trouble because she's been speaking out very vocally. Very vocally. Very vocal. Very, very vocally. And Dennis Prager wrote this long-ass 15-page letter basically scolding her. That's about right? He just scolded her. I haven't read it all. I'm still reading it. But I'm just like already like, really, bro? Really? So then we got to ask ourselves, who is Dennis Prager? Now, before we get into it, everyone, I want you to understand something. Just because somebody says that they're a Trump supporter or they're a MAGA or they're America First doesn't mean that you got to think that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's okay to think that this person possibly could still be a piece of giant dog shit. Not saying that that's what Dennis Prager is. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying what I'm about to tell you might shock you just a bit. Sunni, should I just play the clip, or should you want to give an introduction first?
I don't know. Just go ahead and play it. Let's allow them to have a reaction.
Okay.
Play it.
All right. We're going to do this thing, huh? That's how we're going to do it? All right. We're going to do it. Oh, man. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this live, I tell you. Let's
doubt
hear
it.
what Dennis Prager thinks.
Let's talk about the pornography thing.
Right. Well,
How did that go when you discussed it with Father Dave?
Well,
wait, before we do this, Facebook, YouTube, this is for entertainment purposes only. All rights are reserved to their respective companies. I do not own any of these copyrights, nor am I trying to make any kind of money off of this stuff. But under free use, I get to use this kind of stuff for educational and entertainment purposes. And that's all it is educational and entertainment purposes only. Yeah.
Let's talk about the pornography thing.
right. Well,
How did that go when you discussed it with Father Dave?
Well, you'll have to ask the people there. I mean, I can only judge it from my perspective. I thought it went terrific.
When I saw that clip of you on
Right.
Exodus, I got the sense that you were a bit sidelined.
Oh, totally.
And as somebody who has a talk show, I wish that I could go back and rephrase
well,
things
that's correct.
or add
That
some
is
nuance to
I
them.
wrote a letter. I hope you saw it. And it was the last thing I imagined being asked at an Exodus course with Jordan Peterson and a bunch of scholars whom I adored, by the way. Nevertheless, I should have. I wish I had phrased it better. It is what it is, and I phrased it better tonight without being untrue to myself.
Right.
And what I did not see, a big part of the problem. Should I review this for your watchers, listeners?
Hold on. Let me just point out, Dennis Prager has been friends with Candace Owens since she started. Okay? Loved her when she was just, black people are so stupid. Black people, black people, black people. Black people's problems is this. Black people's problems is that. Dennis Prager was like, you go, girl. You go. We love you, Candace. Keep on talking about black people. Look at how he's changed.
Review
What happened so
Sure.
that they'll understand
Sure,
what
please.
we're talking about. So the Daily Wire asked me to join Jordan Peterson, or Jordan Peterson asked me to join, or both of them asked, because he's doing did the book of Exodus. There were, I believe, 16 sessions of 90 minutes each. It's a lot of time with no commercials.
How many days did you film this in?
8.
8 days.
Yes, 8 days each time in Miami. And it was wonderful. I loved it. So what arose at one time, and I had even forgotten about this, it was 5 minutes out of, let's see, what is 16 times an hour and a half? 24 hours. So it's 5 minutes out of 24 hours. And what happened was, I don't even remember how the issue arose, but I mentioned that there is a Jewish-Christian difference with regard to Jesus' statement that a man who lusts after another woman has committed adultery with his heart. That that phrase does not appear, obviously, in the Hebrew Bible, but B, that the general...
Of course it doesn't appear in the Hebrew Bible, you moron. The Hebrew Bible is older than the New Testament. Of course it doesn't appear. Jesus wasn't there yet. Not in the flesh. Dummy.
Jewish view, and I say general because I can't speak for all Jews, even though I try to be normative, is that you can only commit adultery with, and I said this in the video, and I purposely said I'm not trying at all to be cute in any way. You
couldn't try to be cute with that mug.
only commit adultery with one organ, and it is not the heart. Judaism is very behavior-based. Christianity is more, it's not that it's not behavior-based, but it is equally, if not more, thought, inner self, heart-based.
kind of like what Jesus called out you Sadducees and Pharisees for, huh? You guys had it all right. Your behavior was fine. It was what you was doing within your heart and the reason why you was doing things that made you foul. Fair?
Fair.
So, for example, there's a phrase in Hebrew that I learned very early in my yeshiva education. I'll say it in Hebrew so that people will know I didn't make it up. Lo hamachshava ha'ikar el ha'ma'aseh. It is not the thought that counts. Not that counts. That is the essence, but the deed.
Right.
Judaism is very behaviorist, and I am very behaviorist. So, for example, and I mentioned this at Franciscan.
I think he's about to get into it. Is this where he gets into it?
I don't know. We'll see. Press it. If not, we have
I've
two
said on the
clips that
radio
have him
very
saying
often,
it.
I don't care if you like Jews. I don't care if you dislike Jews. I prefer you like Jews, but there are a lot of Jews I don't like. I mean, it's just a little silly to say I like a whole group. There's no whole group I like. There's no whole group I dislike. Mm-hmm. But in any event, I don't care if you dislike Jews. I care how you treat Jews. And that is, it goes to the essence of what my belief is. I want to know how you act. The left does this all the time. Oh, you treat gays beautifully. Like in my case, my wife and I are godparents to a gay couple's children. But the fact that I'm against a same-sex marriage, that makes me a hater. Mm-hmm. So how I treat gays is irrelevant. It's what I think. This bothers me that your thoughts can be regarded as a demerit.
But your thoughts wouldn't be uncharitable towards people with same-sex attraction. You would just think that the behavior is presumably sinful. So they would be wrong in their thinking of you as a homophobe.
What bothers me the most is that we redefine.
Sorry, guys. I got to address this comment. Jews, you aren't funny, matter of fact. Actually, you're acting like a jerk towards a Jewish man. Well, allow me to act like a jerk towards whatever type of woman you are. If you don't like it, you can get off my page. How about that? I'll make fun of whoever the hell I want to. I definitely don't care if somebody is of a certain ethnicity. No one is spared. Okay? I do not care. I don't got to respect him more because of his religion. I don't give a fuck about his religion. How about that?
Marriage.
Okay.
I am. When my Leviticus commentary comes out, that'll be the 5th of my 5-volume commentary on the Torah. Mm-hmm. I have already written 22,000 words on one verse, which, of course, I've never done for any other verse, about a man shall not lie with a man as with a woman. And so without even getting into that, the point I wanted to make was, for the left, what I think renders me awful, not what I do. So my treatment of gays is excellent. But the fact that I don't think marriage should be redefined is enough to make me a hater, bigot, homophobe, and all the other terms that they use. Anyway.
Kind of like if you disagree with anything that someone that is Israeli views, if you disagree with anything, you're kind of an anti-Semite. Funny how that works, huh?
Back to us.
Okay. Let me interject here. So Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics, right, has these 4 levels of the vicious to the virtuous man. The vicious man is the one who wants to do evil and does it. And he has the incontinent man, the continent man. But he says the virtuous man is the one who wants to do the good and does it. And so to me, I have children. If one of them held anti-Semitic views but treated you kindly, I would say, well, that's better than holding anti-Semitic views and being bad toward you. But I would think that's not where I would settle.
That's fine. That's fine. I respect that.
And I also want to say that I think I agree with you that obviously adultery and lust are different things. If they weren't different things, we wouldn't have 2 separate words for them. But
right. Also, which comes somewhat of a revelation to my Christian friends, is there is no sin of this. There are 613 laws in the Torah. None of them say do not lust. You can't covet. Covet is a very different concept than lust. Covet means you want to take what belongs to another, and there's a very simple proof that it doesn't mean lust. Covet, You don't lust after a house or
Wait
a
a
donkey,
minute.
one presumes.
If I have
Aren't
a
you
wife,
lusting something that you want? Like, huh?
yeah, he's playing the semantics with words. It literally says, "Do not covet your neighbor's wife." What are you coveting for? What are you coveting your neighbor's wife for if it's not related to lust?
Lust.
I want her to make me a sandwich. She makes the best sandwiches in the whole village. Really? This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
And yet you're not allowed to covet those either.
But do you make a distinction between sexual desire and lust? Do you see a distinction?
I
there?
don't.
Okay, so therefore, if you don't see a distinction between those two things, I can see why you would think it insane to tell somebody they shouldn't
I don't know
lust.
how you sexually desire your wife and have no lust for her.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
So I would think
that's
that,
interesting.
I would think that lust.
So you think so lust? Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I've never confronted it quite this way. So lust, from
lust
your
reduces the subject to an object.
Okay,
It subordinates the dignity of the person to the good of a selfish pleasure. It's also a distorted sexual act. So it's an act which is contrary to human nature or to the end of the sexual
okay,
act. I
so
suppose.
if
You want to know what I think? I think that old Dennis got some weird lust that he's got that he doesn't want to be a sin. That's what I think. Why are you
Boom.
arguing
You know-
this point so hard?
You know what you should do next? You should play that clip where he talks about CP not being a you know what.
I thought that's what this was.
This he lightly touches on it, but where he
Okay.
says that is on a panel discussion. This is an overview of everything he had talked about, and this guy sits down with him, and they
Okay,
address
so we'll-
several points throughout this whole thing.
Okay, so we'll scratch this. This is pointless. But the point of what I was trying to show you guys, that wasn't really in this video all the way.
I'm sorry.
This guy, no, you're good. This guy, Dennis Prager, who's scolding Candace for her views on the Talmudist, he's got a view that child P, CP, that thing, that is, it's okay as long as it's AI generated. It's okay. You should be able to watch it. There's nothing wrong with that. No, it's okay. As long as it's coming from a computer, as long as it's like an anime, if somebody makes a cartoon of it, it's fine. Should be able to watch it. There's no crime there. How do you feel about that, Suni?
I was disgusted. And I was disgusted by how many people ran interference for him when he said this. I want to say Tatum was one of them. Tatum was one of
Really?
them. A lot of people came out and tried to defend him on what he said. And a lot of people said, you know what? I'm not going to defend this. But his statements on, pornography in general, outside of what he just said about children, is disgusting. In the interview that we were lightly touching on, he talks about his experience with his parents being extremely open about them engaging in that together, and how his mother was okay with it, but really his mother wasn't okay with it. She was doing it to accommodate the father. So when you say he probably grew up with some very strange tendencies, he gets into that in this interview, and I think he did, and it's shaping the way he thinks on a lot of other things. And to your point, these are the people that are regulating what you and I cannot say on a certain topic. They are deciding the moral compass for this side. Do you realize how big Dennis Prager is?
Yeah, I do. I mean, everybody talks about him. I don't like him personally. I don't like his content. I don't like his thoughts. I don't like any. I get a weird vibe off people, and then I'm just like, I don't listen to him.
Yeah.
And he's one of them. I don't. In my mind, he's not somebody that I find interesting enough to take advice from or form a thought around.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be brilliant. I don't know. But I
think
don't
he's smart.
listen to him.
He's a little touched.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's not a shocker to me that people will come out and defend him, especially at Tatum. I'm sorry, I know Tatum's your boy or whatever, but I can't get with Tatum. I've tried. I've tried. I can't do Tatum. He pisses me off. Everything he does pisses me off. He does some things that's okay, but everything you come into the defense of that. There's no defending that. If you can, this is my thing. If you can defend Dennis Prager and saying that CP is okay as long as it's AI, how come you can't defend the black people that you smear all the time? Just
Apparently,
saying.
it's a victimless crime. I said, "Whoa, you did not just say that."
Yeah, I believe he did. Pretty disgusting. So Candace Owens, she has had her whole YouTube taken away. They deplatformed her. She's restarting. All because, that interview she did with Shmuley. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I should quit vaping. Either that or I got strep throat, which I think something's going around over here. But yeah, they did her bogus. They bananaed her account because she was talking some truth, but some falsehood. How you feel about it?
About Candace speaking out on it? So I haven't gone as deep as you both have. Clearly Candace has gone down a rabbit hole that I've never traveled down. Now I've read some of the literature, like lightly read some of the literature that she's talking about. So I'm slightly versed on it, but when I'm listening to her talk about it, I just feel she is coming from a more inquisitive angle. Like, why is it that this, and this happened? Why can't we talk about this? Why are you guys coming at me like this?
I can tell you
to
why.
me, it's more inquisitive. Why?
Because these people that you cannot mention without being labeled an anti-Semite,
Yeah.
people that identify as that group of people, who I don't believe are that group of people personally. They're not. But they run everything. They literally have their hand in every government around the world. They have their hand in media around the world, social media, every kind of news source you could think of. They actually are the majority owners of the corn industry.
I did read that.
Replace the corn with a P. They also are the ones that push the agenda for the whole LGBTQ thing. They fund all of it. They also fund different rallies that people go to and attend where bad things happen. It seems like that they are the biggest funders of chaos. They are the biggest funders of degeneracy. They are the biggest funders of disinformation. And that's not an accident. It's on purpose, especially when you read the Talmud. If you ever read the Talmud or looked into the Talmud, it says that the Goyim being every person that is not a part of them, is lower than an animal. You're to be treated like beast. And it's okay to lie in this instance, right? You can lie to them because they're not actual humans. They're the only real humans. So it's okay to lie to them to circumvent them from knowing the truth about anything. That's literally written in the Talmud. I shared it on the live that I did on X.
Wow.
People don't like to talk about it.
I didn't know that.
And I got to be real careful, on here, because Facebook and YouTube, even though I'm not trying to be offensive towards any group of people, like that, the people that wear the yarmulke, I'm just going to say that. I'm not against you. I have no problem with you at all. In fact, I love y'all. And Judaism is pretty cool when I look into it, right? Regular Judaism. It's all right. I'm talking about the people that practice the Talmud.
Yeah.
You say Amber is asking who defended CP. Dennis Prager.
It's
Prager.
the very. Here, I'll
got
tell
the
you which
clip?
video it is.
Right
I'll
here,
pull
just
it up.
share it. Just share it to the screen and I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you guys can hear it firsthand.
You can hear it firsthand. He's sitting on the stage with Charlie Kirk. And, this is what they do. I'm not shocked by this side anymore. It's like, That
People are
side of
waking
me
up
has
to
gone
it.
bye-bye, but here it is.
In Catholicism, for example, it is
Can
a
you turn
sin
it
if
up?
you are healthy enough to go to mass and
It's
you
all
never,
the way
and you
up.
never go. But
Okay,
I
hold
don't
on.
know
Pause
any
it. Let me
Catholic
turn
that would
this
say
music off.
Okay.
Okay, do it.
in Catholicism, for example, it is a sin if you are healthy enough to go to mass and you never go. But I don't know any Catholic that would say you're evil or it is evil if you don't attend mass. In my religion, I keep kosher. I do not eat pork products or shellfish. But no Jew, the most religious Jew alive, would say it is evil to eat pork. There are sins. All evil is sin, but not every sin is evil. If you want to call masturbation evil, as the Catholic I had the dialogue with did, fine, we have a difference. I use the term evil for rape, torture, murder, and the like. If masturbation is evil, then I think we have raped the term evil of its moral power. Masturbation may be a sin, and even that is
Sorry, I muted. This is in response to this, and I have to find the clip. The clip that we were watching earlier has his response to AI generated images because they started out talking about women, and he said it's a victimless crime. And the guy extended it to challenge his logic to ask him what he thought about AI generated CP. So ever since he did that, he was just going on this endless campaign of trying to say, I don't believe every sin is evil. And it goes back to what you think with your mind. He's an actions oriented person, a behavior. He didn't think there's anything wrong with it. It's not evil because there are no children being affected. Period,
Yeah.
point blank.
And you know what's funny is this is on Turning Point.
Yeah.
So a Christian-based outlet is okay with having a guest on with his views, and they praise him. Turning Point praises Dennis Prager. And people just don't, no one gets it. Like, how do you not understand what's going on here? How do you not if he would be anybody else, he'd be called a sicko.
A sicko.
If it was me, if a black guy, darker skinned American, was to say these things, oh yeah, it'd be all kind of talk. Brandon Tatum would make a whole video. See what the black community has done to this black man's mind. He's a criminal now. Look at how wrong he is. He's so stupid. It's because he's black. You know, those kind of things. But because Dennis Prager is a part of a certain community, it's okay. It's okay. We have to love them. It says in the Bible, we will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. They always use that verse when anybody tries to say anything. I can't say anything bad about Israel. I can't say anything bad about the people that come from there because the Bible. That's not what it says. And it's not what it means. Okay? There was no Israel in existence when that term or that verse was written. There was no Israel. In fact, the only time Israel has been in existence is in 1948. Before 1948, there was just a people. There was a people. There was no nation. The people of Israel are different than the nation of Israel. And that's what I hope everybody understands. Understand, if you can grasp that part, the people of Israel are different than the nation of Israel. It's not hard. Not hard. And then you can understand. You know who got Israel now? You know who's running Israel?
Baby.
You know who the government of Israel is?
Who?
The Pharisees and Sadducees that Jesus was talking to.
I was thinking that, but I thought that was too simple of an answer.
I mean, it's I can get even simpler. The devil.
It's the devil.
I get as plain as it can get.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? In no way is that a reflection of the people. Because you know who runs our country? You know who runs our country? The Pharisees and the Sadducees.
We're all going through it.
But that is not a reflection of the American people. Same way.
We didn't hear what you're accusing. Listen, I will get the clip. It's nothing. I did a whole video on this. I did several videos on this. I'm actually going to go back to my older videos and see if I can pull it. And I'll pull it up. There's no reason for me to lie about this. I have no. You say Black Americans don't have a dog in the fight. What does this have to do with the reason that this was even brought up? It was because it was questioning who is Dennis Prager to be issuing a condemnation to someone who is simply questioning what is going on over there. It's that simple.
I got it. All right, let me see. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Let's see if this is correct.
Would you use the word evil of animated child pornography? Because I certainly would.
No, I would use evil only with behavior. That's where we might differ, forgetting the sex issue.
Thank you.
You can't be evil. You didn't do evil if you thought evil. You did evil
if I'm
if you
masturbating
committed.
to animated pictures of pornography, I'm not doing something evil.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's despicable.
There you go.
Really?
Does that put it
Yes.
in a little better context for you there, Miss Cat? It puts it in context for me. I'll tell you that. That's as cut and dry as it gets. I just didn't want to play it on here, but hey, I did. I played it. That's some sick shit. I don't care. That's sick. That's sick. That is sick. What else does he agree with that we all might find fucking very insane?
But this goes to Cash's point. The people with the most depraved views, the people with the most, like the things that they do and don't accept, the lines that they blur, they get to determine what we can and cannot talk about. And they are coming out against Candace in droves, and no one's saying anything about it. The David Horowitz Center literally said, Candace, you went from focusing on the Black Exodus to talking and making erroneous claims about Israel. What do you think that says to a Black person? We really wish Candace would go back to talking about Black people. That's where she flourished.
Yep.
So you're telling Black people that we can't talk about Israel because why?
Because they're God's people. They're just God's people.
Would you use the word evil of animated child pornography? Because I certainly would.
No, I would use evil only with behavior. That's where we might differ, forgetting the sex issue. You can't be evil. You didn't do evil if you thought evil. You did evil
if I'm
if you
masturbating
committed.
to animated pictures of pornography, I'm not doing something evil.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that's despicable. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, of course. Would you?
At least this guy called it out. I think that's despicable. I'm so glad he called that out because that is despicable. That's disgusting. It's really what it is. It's beyond despicable. It's grotesque. You know
It's
what I'm
disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Sorry, I'm not trying to be vulgar, but it's nasty. It's disgusting. And this guy wrote a 15-page letter to Candace Owens, coming at her about everything that she said, putting it in quotations and then treating her like a full-blown child and saying, actually, no, let me correct the narrative for you. Isn't that what the left does? Don't we accuse leftist, liberal people of trying to put their mouth inside of our mouth as Black people? I could have swore that was a claim we made.
What you said, Cat? He literally just said child. Literally. It was literally, it just Cat.
I'll be back. I got to go get the kids, bro. I'll be back.
Go ahead. I got this. Cat, he literally is talking about child. The child P. He's literally talking about it. That's literally what he was talking about. 100%. He just said it. And I don't want to play it a third time. I'm already pushing my luck. I'm going to have to probably edit the hell out of this video or not leave it up on YouTube. But that's what he's talking about. Okay? He said it. It was his words. That's his words, not mine. Okay? And now here, I'll be fair. Candace doesn't got her points all the way together. All right? Candace comes out harsh against people. I don't think she means to come out hard against the Jewish community. I don't think that's what it is at all. She's talking about who I'm talking about, the Talmudists. It's not against Jewish people. We love everybody. You know what I'm saying? But to say that there's not a problem with people who identify as part of that community and the things that they push, the agenda that they have all throughout the world, but we'll just use here in America, the things that is funded, the things that is promoted, the things that is taught, especially in that Talmud. The Talmud is probably one of the most disgusting books ever to be, written. It's disgusting. It's horrible. And if you don't believe that, it's probably because you haven't read it. All right. So unless you are somebody that is a part of, that community, you would find a problem with it because it's talking directly about you, the goyim. The goyim. If you're not them, well, Amber, you say who even wrote the Talmud? A bunch of Pharisees and Sadducees. It is the rabbinical writings. You ever heard of the Hadith with the Quran? You got the Hadith, you got the Quran, and then you got the Hadith. You got the Torah, and you got the Talmud. Okay, it's like that. It's a bunch of different people who were leaders at the time that wrote writings that people follow more than they follow the actual Torah. They believe that more than they. It also it says in there, one of the verses, that when their Messiah comes, that every person that is a part of that community will have 2,800 slaves. 2,800. I'm not making this up. You don't believe me, you could Google it. It's there. All right. And guess who are going to be the slaves? Everybody that is not a part of, that community. Can't make this up. So you have people that have this thought process, that they have this belief that you're not even a human, if you're not one of them, and that you can be lied to, which when you think about that part, you look at the media, the way that the media is run and how they lie to us all the time, and then who actually owns the media, well, then you can understand why there's so many lies. You can understand why they push so much misinformation on the people. They're trying to circumvent you from ever finding out the truth. It says it. It's that literal. What I just said is literally written inside the Talmud. I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Go and read it. Type it in and see if it says it. And then see what their thoughts are. So when you see Dennis Prager talking about CP and why he feels the way that he feels towards it, well, then I challenge you to go and look up the verse in there where it says that it is permissible for an adult to do indecent things with somebody who is way, way, way younger. And I'm not going to give the age. But it'll make your skin crawl if you're a normal human being. It's permissible, which would then explain why Candace Owens came out and said that they harbor people in Israel that are predators from the States that are a part of their faith. This isn't a conspiracy. This is a fact. This is a fact. All right. Child trafficking updates. Charlie Kirk has info. Oh, always interested in that, Gina. But yeah, you guys, this is, like I say, in no way do I got any hate towards a community of people based off their ethnicity or, the color of their skin or anything like that. I'm talking about people. It will be like, how everybody can agree that the schmatzis, I don't know if I could say the word on here, but mustache man's people, right? We can all agree that they have a horrible belief, right? Can we all agree that what they wanted for the world wasn't good for the whole world because it isolated the rest of the world and only talked about a specific group of people? It is no different than what's in the Talmud. It's the exact same playbook, just on the opposite end. Why can't we call that out? You could talk about Mustache Man all day long and nobody will say anything bad. They'll agree with you. But the moment you call out this wicked shit, oh, you're an anti-Semite. You're a horrible person. So why am I talking about this right now? Well, I don't like child predators. I definitely don't like kids being used in any kind of sick way, and that's what Talmudists promote. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That's what they promote. If you don't believe me, again, do some research. Do some research. And you'll see why I feel the way that I feel. All right, I was asked this question the other day when I was live. They called me and said, what do you think about the J.E. woos, right? And I said, well, I don't want to get into that topic on here because I'll get my account taken. So I'm very careful the way I talk about it, which is why I say the Talmudists, because it separates them. Just like not everybody that says they're a Christian is a Christian. You got some over here that are, Klansmen. They don't represent Christianity. That's how I'm making the distinction between the Talmudists. They do not represent real Jewish values. All right? That's it. That's it. Jewish people are not the same as Talmudists. If you're Jewish and you're watching, I love you. I have nothing against you at all. Gripe's not with you. And you know what I'm talking about. Because you probably have seen the Talmud. There's some dissension in that community about it. Some people don't even like the Talmud that are Jewish. Just like in Islam. Some people don't go by the Hadith. The Hadith is separate than the Quran. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. All right. It's like a whole separate doctrine, if you really want to be honest. They got some of the core tenets of the Torah, but it's a whole separate doctrine. Same thing, Quran. You got some Muslims that go by the Quran that don't accept Hadith because it's not the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kat. True. Very true. I mean, I don't know. When I'm talking about the people that I'm talking about the elite. I'm talking about the Soroses. I'm talking about the Rothschilds. I'm talking about the Rockefellers. I'm talking about the big names, the big people that run shit. I'm not talking about regular everyday people like us that struggle, that are trying to find their way in the world. I'm not talking about them. All right. So I just want to make that very clear before people go off and start saying, oh, that was wrong. Cash shouldn't have said that. No, it's right. It's right. It is. And when exactly the evil, and when Yeshua HaMashiach, when the Messiah comes back, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that those people won't be. They won't be. I mean, he's the one who said it to the synagogue of Satan. Take and do with it as you will. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. I'm gonna get off here. I just had to do this TikTok live I was doing with Sunni. It was interesting. Exactly. That's exactly right, Kat. The Rothschilds don't practice Judaism. Neither do a lot of people who profess that they are, in fact, a part of Judaism. That's my whole point. That is the whole point. Thank you. I appreciate you for acknowledging that. With that said, I'm gone. Peace.